in a snowy, windswept Norwegian mountain range, the majestic Troll Peaks, aka Trolltinden. A young girl named Nora Tiedemann stands beside her father, Tobias, an earnest folklorist and professor. By his arm, they ascend toward a cliff face, where he spins a legendary tale. 13 drunken trolls once danced in a wedding party until they lost track of time, exposed to daylight, and turned to stone, forming the very mountaintops above them. Tobias teaches Nora, to truly see, one must believe with the heart, not just with the eyes. As he speaks, Nora imagines faces hidden in the rock, eyes carved in granite, expressions frozen for eternity. It's a moment that cements her belief in something beyond science. Fast forward about 20 years. Nora is now Dr. Nora Tiedemann, a bright, driven paleontologist making her first major fossil discovery. Meanwhile, deep beneath those same mountains, engineers load explosives to extend a high-speed railway tunnel through Dovre. Despite protests from local environmental activists and climate-conscious youth, the drilling continues. A massive explosion rips through the tunnel. Debris and dust fill the air. Workers and protesters flee in panic. Suddenly, the mountain seems to fight back, emitting an unearthly roar as something enormous emerges from within, chasing survivors out into daylight. The Norwegian government is thrown into crisis. Defense Minister Fredrik Markussen and General Sverre Lunde convene scientists for answers. Among them is Nora, summoned from her dig site to provide insight into the strange geological disturbance. At the explosion site, drones and aerial photography reveal a vast crater surrounded by huge indentations, footprints too large to be human. While most experts presume a methane pocket triggered the blast, Nora and Prime Minister's advisor Andreas Isaksson observe the unusual impressions. They suspect something far more extraordinary. A troll may have been awakened. The Prime Minister, Berit Moberg, grants permission for further investigation. Andreas brings in Captain Christopher "Chris" Holm from the elite FSK unit to escort the scientific team into the wilderness. Soon after, a second violent incident occurs miles away near Lesja. An elderly couple's home is destroyed, as if smashed by a titanic foot. Evidence mounts that something enormous and alive is on the move. Suspicious and determined, Nora reaches out to her father Tobias, now living in isolation. Once a respected professor, he was discredited and institutionalized after he asserted that trolls were not mere folklore, but real creatures. Seeking refuge in solitude, he continued studying myths while society labeled him mad. In a small cabin, Tobias reviews drone footage and geological scans. He notes that a hominid-like shape was seen tunneling out of the rock. He declares, "Trolls once roamed Norway, unmolested, until Christian settlers waged war on them more than 1,000 years ago." Nora, Andreas, Chris, and Tobias journey into the Dovre Mountains. Tobias identifies a topographical anomaly, a section of mountain that should not exist as it does. As they explore, they inadvertently awaken a camouflaged giant. A colossal troll, approximately 50 meters tall, rises from the mountain's side, its skin mossy rock at first glance. Terrified but resolute, the group flees downhill. At a safe distance, they capture shaky but undeniable video footage, confirmations of Nora's theory that trolls are real and active. The military, under Captain Chris's leadership, launches a coordinated assault. Tanks roll, grenades explode, helicopters swoop. But the troll shrugs off bullets and missiles. It senses blood and smells the soldiers. It's enraged rather than wounded. Tobias steps forward amid the chaos, arms raised, attempting to communicate. He speaks softly. "Listen, my child. Believe." A lull starts, but then more gunfire from vehicles hits the troll. Startled, it slams Tobias with its tail. He's flung across the clearing and dies in Nora's arms, uttering his last words. Nora is devastated. The troll resumes its path toward Oslo, leaving destruction in its wake. With chaos mounting, Nora turns inward to the mythology she grew up learning. Delving into ancient lore and her father's journals, Nora recalls stories of trolls being vulnerable to church bells, a sonic weapon used by early Christians to ward them off. She proposes using the resonance of bells to incapacitate the creature. The government approves, and a sonic strike is executed. 3 helicopters hover, releasing powerful bell sounds near the troll, but rather than weakening it, the noise further enrages the beast. It counters with destructive force, collapsing buildings, overturning vehicles, and killing more troops. Global media picks up the events. Suddenly, the mythological monster catapulted from a remote mountain becomes headline news across continents. As the troll trashes its way closer to Oslo, the government orders a complete evacuation of the capital. Prime Minister Moberg announces on live television, "Look out for one another, and God bless us all, and our fatherland." Citizens flee as military checkpoints secure highways out of the city. In the command center, planners discuss deploying a tactical nuclear strike on Oslo to stop the troll. Nora and Andreas object vehemently. They believe destroying the city, and the creature, is wrong. In response, they are officially removed from the task force. Refusing to give up, Nora and Andreas follow Tobias's notes toward Oslo's royal palace. There they meet Rikard Sinding, chief of court. In the palace's hidden tunnels, he admits the government's deepest secret. The palace was erected atop the ruins of the Troll King's royal chamber. Christian settlers slaughtered the Troll monarchy centuries earlier, raising their underground city beneath Dovre and burying the remains. When Tobias got too close to revealing this, Sinding discredited him and had him institutionalized. They uncover skeletal remains, a troll family's bones, preserved underground. Nora connects the dots. The creature is the last surviving Troll King, marching toward Oslo not to attack, but to return home. Nora and Andreas, armed with new historical knowledge, realize sunlight is lethal to trolls. Under UV light, their bones incinerate. They craft a plan, use high-intensity UV lamps, like tanning bed units, mount them on utility vehicles, and blind the troll in a trap near Oslo. Andreas contacts Sigrid, a tech specialist at a secret government facility, asking her to sabotage the nuclear strike. Sigrid hacks military systems and delays the launch, buying precious time. They load the skull of a troll baby, one of the remains beneath the palace, into the back of the Queen's pickup truck. The truck is driven toward Oslo, serving as bait for the approaching monster. The troll, emotionally drawn to the skull of its offspring, follows the truck into the trap. Soldiers position UV lamps on rigs. Lights flip on. The beams crackle against the troll's flesh. It roars in agony, smoke rising as parts of its body start sizzling, literally burning from the inside out. But at the crucial moment, Nora has a crisis of conscience. She shuts off the lights, unable to kill the creature that seemed to only want to go home. She steps forward, tears in her eyes. Suddenly, clouds break and dawn pours sunlight into the trap zone. The troll convulses under the direct solar rays, turning to stone mid-roar. Its massive frame crumbles into rubble and dust, final as the myths themselves. Then, in the film's final frame, from a distant cavern in Dovre, a deep, echoing roar ripples through darkness, suggesting not all ancient giants slumber forever.